I'm super excited about my upcoming trip to California and how I get to do a tour of a poultry setup in the actual Newcastle containment zone. But I'm gonna be quite honest, I'm a little bit nervous. I have a flock of about 26 chickens. I also have ducks, geese, and turkeys, and I work for a company that sells live poultry. So I wanna make sure that I'm taking every necessary precaution in order to not bring Newcastle back to Ohio. So I made a call to the California Department of Food and Agriculture. They were super nice and willing to give me any and all information that I needed. A few things they told me was to prevent the disease from coming back to Ohio was if I had like those medical shoe booties, I could put those over my shoes when I was in California. And then also to wash everything head to toe in a bleach solution wash. That's the only way to sanitize and get rid of the disease. It can be transferred easily, like going to the gas station and I stepped where somebody else stepped and they were in contact with Newcastle, or they had birds infected with Newcastle. It is super, super contagious. So I'm going to take it one step further, and I went to the store and I purchased California shoes for each member of my family traveling to the state. We are going to wear our Ohio shoes to the California airport all the way there, and then once we get there, we're going to change into our California shoes, and we're going to wear just those shoes in California. And then before we get headed to the airport to come back to Ohio, we're going to wash everything in a bleach solution, head to toe, shoes, socks, shirts, pants, everything. And then we're going to take our stuff to the airport, and when we get to the airport before boarding the plane, we're going to change into our Ohio shoes again. And then once we get to Ohio, we have another pair of shoes waiting for us in the car, so that nothing that was in California or that may or may not have come in contact with Newcastle is being transferred onto our property or into the state for that matter. So I hope you guys enjoy this tour. I am super excited. I think that it'll provide some answers to some people's questions and maybe give you a few ideas for your flock at home and how you do biosecurity on your homestead. Hey Meyer Hatchery peeps, it's Amanda Haney here, and I am here in sunny Southern California, and I am visiting Three Doves Acres with Terry and Rob, and they've invited me here. They are actually in the containment zone for Newcastle, and they have invited me to come and kind of take a glimpse at what the reality is right now here in Southern California and what they're dealing with. You'll hear there's poultry here on site, so you guys are not having to euthanize your birds, right?
Exactly.
So you guys, they're considered a closed
flock.
And closed means
There's no cross-contamination.
so you're not bringing anything on the property poultry-wise.
Exactly.
So everything that is babies you hatch here from your own birds, right?
Exactly right.
Okay, and they are also NPIP certified, and to get NPIP certified, you have somebody from the state come and test?
We do a state veterinarian who comes in and she does blood tests twice a year, every year. One time a year she'll do 20 or 30%, and the next time every 6 months she does 100% of the flock.
Okay, and they were just telling me that they've actually stopped the testing for right now because they don't want to bring anything onto anybody else's property. So everything's kind of at a standstill until Newcastle has been eradicated from the state, because they just don't want to keep transferring it and have it become a bigger problem. And there's something else you guys are, you're AI clean, right? What does that mean?
Avian influenza, which is it's been a problem elsewhere, but I think because we are in typically a drier climate, that helps out as well. So no, they test for avian influenza and then all the other bloodborne diseases as well. So
awesome. So they're going to give us a tour of their poultry setup, which I think is pretty neat, because I always like seeing what other people are doing so that maybe I can adjust my setup at home, and maybe it'll help you adjust to make your poultry raising a little easier. So let's see what you guys have. Oh, and we've got a cuddle bug down here.
So if we're actually going to go in the coop, we'll have to put on different shoes.
That's totally fine. See, biosecurity. So you're not just letting me, I do have chickens at home, and I will tell you, I purchased shoes just for California because I don't want to bring anything back to my flock either, because I have multiple birds on my property, and Newcastle is transmitted through fluids, bodily fluids, so feces, anything that comes off of the bird. So if I get bird poop on my pants and I take it home and I touch my birds, then I've infected my flock. So everything that I have come to California with is going to be thrown into the wash. We have new shoes waiting for us in my car at home, so nothing that we have walked on California soil with will be walking on our property, because that's how serious the disease is. So that's awesome to know that you guys are taking those precautions.
Yeah, we never take any of the stuff that we use up here off the property and vice versa.
Love it.
So,
Super important.
so we go in. This is where I keep my chicken shoes. So you got some different sizes here and there, Crocs or whatever.
Okay, so I just choose a pair.
Choose a pair that might fit you. Should
Okay.
be fine.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
No transferring anything.
All right. I don't even take these shoes off the property, even though because I wear them in here and I transfer to my chicken shoes, and then when I switch back and wear these, if I leave the property, I wear different shoes off.
Yeah,
the
because if
property.
you go to the gas station and somebody else that has infected shoes has walked there and then you walk on it, then you bring it back here.
There is a possible likelihood.
Yeah.
So this is the first coop, or the first ranch structure we built, and we didn't have any purpose recycled material.
Right.
So this one was all, Home Depot built.
Yeah.
And it's 12 by 12 with a 7-foot high roof. we called it the King Kong chicken coop and the Coop de Ville for a long time.
Okay.
And it was a little overbuilt.
Okay. Well, you know what? Ours was too, and we've somewhat kind of grown into it, and we might grow out of it soon.
Right.
Because chicken math, right?
Right. We had 15 chickens our first bunch ever, and then now we got 65, I think, roughly in here.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, well, this is our main coop, and
Our
then we
main
have a
coop.
brooder coop.
This is our main breeding stock.
Okay.
So we have the black copper Morans, the Americana Easter eggers, and the olive eggers in here.
All of
And
those
the-
egg colors that everybody wants
Right.
right now.
And the only roos we have are the black copper Moran roos. So
Okay.
when they cross with the Easter eggers, then you get olive eggers.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
so you
And you'll
try-
see in back, there's a separate coop for the
Oh,
turkeys.
yeah. We have a,
You have a Royal
Royal
Palm?
Palm Tom and a broad-breasted bronze that we do crosses for Thanksgiving, of course.
Oh yeah.
Soon we'll be hatching out turkey eggs and start raising them for Thanksgiving and
How
Christmas.
do you enjoy the cross of the heritage and the broad-breasted? How do they grow?
Really well. We had our first 2 ever Toms this last Thanksgiving that were actually hatched from our eggs on our property, and one was 20 pounds and one was like 17 and a half,
Fully dressed out.
fully dressed
So
out.
about how long did it take them to get up to weight?
That was from May till the week before Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
they
So
were
just
they
let
are
them
long.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know those broad-breasted, they're much quicker, and I do
Mhm.
the heritage myself, and now they take a while.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's worth the wait.
and they don't get nearly
Oh,
as big
delicious.
either. The broad-breasted, the Royal Palms don't get nearly as big as the broad-breasted
Right.
as quick, and of course they don't have the breasts.
Right.
And we've done that before. He was the surviving one from 3 others that we had actually butchered for Thanksgiving previously, and he's probably 25 pounds now,
Yeah.
not dressed out, but still, that's
Yeah.
not that big for a Tom.
No.
So having him at the corner of this property where you see is actually also another benefit, because he's our watch
Oh yeah.
turkey. So he knows when the coyotes are coming down or anything else. So he always
Be
gives us
people.
the first warning, folks walking. So we know what's going on this corner of the property first by him.
From him alerting. So not only geese and guineas can be watchdogs, turkeys can be
Very
watchdogs.
much so,
Exactly.
Good
yes.
to know.
And
I
he's
know,
not
right?
nearly as annoying as a guinea.
Yeah, the guineas are quite loud, but they're really going to keep the bugs down.
Yeah.
Exactly. When we probably need to bring in guineas this year just
Again.
because of all the rain that we've had.
Get rid of all those bugs.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, goodness.
So, this is the main coop. We have 12 nesting boxes. They also like to lay up on top of the loft up here, on top of this cabinet. And then here's this little shelving area over here that they like to lay on as well. I
have to say, I'm really glad I see poop.
Oh yeah.
Because this is a real coop.
We're not afraid of the deep litter, especially in the wintertime. And we had a pretty prolific winter for Southern California standards.
Yes.
We got
You actually had a season.
A blue Americana and looks like an olive egger in there.
Isn't it funny? Look at all these nest boxes and they choose to use the one together.
Right. They have 13 different nesting areas and they use
the
3,
favorite.
I think. Yeah.
And you're hanging your feeders. That probably helps eliminate the mice issue.
Right. I only put the hanger feeders inside and then I'll spread out little piles for them to eat. But I only put out enough food that they'll actually eat in the morning and no leftovers.
So no waste.
So, well, no waste, and it doesn't attract the ground squirrels around here is the biggest problem, and then rats at night.
I don't love those.
And I haven't seen a lot of mice around. I think I've seen the chickens actually eat the mice.
Yeah, they're carnivores, really.
Oh yeah, very much so. Anybody that thinks a chicken is a vegetarian or a vegan is
not possible.
really mistaken. Really, contained chickens are vegans and vegetarians.
Yes. And I think it's really cool that you guys are backed up to the Cleveland National Forest. Right?
Right.
You can see there was some fire damage.
Oh yeah.
It's very common here in Southern California.
Yeah, last August it burned all the way up to just the edge of this clearing right here. And then we had to put a drainage. There's a big, huge drainage ditch right there now.
And you had to evacuate all your chickens?
Or just not the chickens,
goats?
just the goats.
And the chickens ended up staying put and you lost none?
None.
That's a miracle.
It is
Very
a
much
miracle.
so.
Strong birds.
They really,
That
apparently.
means they're well loved and good, really well taken care of.
Right. Even if we could have evacuated the chickens, then you're breaking biosecurity.
That's true.
Because where we would have had to take them is over at the high school where the FFA is, and you know they have birds over there and
you don't know
ducks
who's
and everything.
tested and
oh
who's
no,
not.
Exactly.
And
So
they
safer
just
to keep
got
them.
their biosecurity. I can't imagine can be all that good.
So when you guys first heard about the Newcastle outbreak, how did you find out about it? Like, did you get a letter in the mail, a phone call?
An email actually from the state vet and
Okay.
the MPI organization letting us know.
So they just let you know and they just said, hey, you should probably do stricter biosecurity. Like, what was the
They
warning?
basically said you guys are a close flock anyway. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anything come in that's from anywhere else in
Right.
the state.
Right.
So and that's why they haven't come to test either. They don't want to do the cross contamination.
But if for any reason you had a bird showing symptoms, and some of the symptoms can include like neurological issues, lack of appetite, not laying as many eggs, soft eggs, diarrhea, crooked neck, and a lot of those symptoms are symptoms of other diseases like Merrick's. So it's hard to know.
Right? Don't they have a respiratory?
Yeah, it could be respiratory, rattling, like a gaping beak, like they're gasping for air.
Mucus coming from
Yeah,
their
mucus.
beak
There's
and-
lots of gross symptoms, and a lot of those are Merrick's symptoms as well. So, I mean, if you are finding that any of your flock has any sort of symptom, you call the bird hotline that's provided.
right.
And then you let them know, and then they come, and I believe they come like kind of like in a hazmat setup, right?
They are in hazmat setup even when they're doing blood testing. So
Okay.
they're completely secure from head to toe. We try to set them up in the shade somewhere because it's pretty warm out here usually when they do it. So they
Pop-up awnings and the whole nine yards.
Yeah.
exactly. So that's part of the. Rob just did a webinar just the other day with biosecurity. I mean, we've done it so many times that we could practically teach the course.
Right.
But it's just good to
Right.
here are the symptoms. This is what you should be looking for if anything happens like that. So,
Right.
fortunately, as you can see, aside from missing feathers because they're popular hens,
Yes.
they're very healthy.
Those roosters are very happy.
Yes, they are.
Maybe I can make, we have Jess on staff. She makes these really pretty chicken saddles.
Oh, fun.
That'll help dress them up a bit.
So do you want to go to see the brooder coop?
I would love to see the brooder coop. And I'm going to be very careful. It's really hard. I'm not allowed to take anything off the property, and all these beautiful birds. That chicken math, always wanting more.
Yes.
I have to say, my Easter eggers and olive eggers and any of my colored layers, they seem to be like my hardiest breeds. And they're laying through the winter, they're laying with the time change and the different hours of sunlight, and they give us really good hardy eggs.
Yeah, the BCN girls lay the least, it seems like.
Black Hopper, yeah. It's like they're saving up all their energy for those beautiful dark eggs.
Exactly. We'll have to show you before you go to just what's the count today? And we just started in the lighting just changed, so we're starting to lay really prolifically again. So what is the count that you get per day now, Rob?
We were down to like maybe 10 a day, 8 to 10,
Eggs
and now
a
we're
day?
up to about 30 a day.
Okay, so with the
Again.
time change and the weather, because you guys were getting some winter temps, which California's not used to.
Exactly. Winter temps
The
and
SoCal girls don't like it at all, and they particularly don't like the rain, especially the mud.
Do you guys put artificial light in your coops at all, or do you do it all
We
natural?
Do all the way up until after the holidays, and then we shut
Give
it
them a
off
rest.
again. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's good to give you girls a rest too. They're working so hard.
exactly. We'll actually do some diatomaceous earth and some extra egg shells and
Protein
whatever
and
other
calcium.
protein that we can give to help them get through that tough cycle as well.
Yeah.
Especially when they start
The
molting.
brood, yeah, when they molt.
Give them some, what is it, postnatal care?
Exactly. Exactly. So we have these giant 100-plus-year-old, century-old olive trees as well. So they give us lots of natural shade, and we kind of build around them. You see no vegetation back here, basically because we had the goats.
Okay, so they cleaned it up for you.
Right. So
So yeah, with the hotter temperatures, you're gonna need more shade. Probably going through more water.
exactly.
Okay.
So-
So what kind of watering system do you guys use?
We actually. It's still all very manual because you never know. Today it's supposed to be 80 degrees, so we'll come out 2 or 3 times a day and we'll actually spray them or give them more water in their buckets and have fresh water. So we're on a well, so we have our own.
That's nice.
All the hoses, that goes all the way up to the pump house.
Oh, wow.
Over there next to the other chicken coop. So yeah, there's hoses running all over.
We don't have a well and we have hoses running. We don't have running water out in our coop in our barn. So a lot of muscles. Get your workout.
Yeah.
See, our yard used to look like our neighbor's yard, but then the goats just stripped it all bare.
Yeah, they do that. They're good lawnmowers.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the brooder coop.
This is the brooder coop.
Even though you don't see babies in here right now.
No, we don't have any babies right now.
But they're still younger, so you're not wanting to
Exactly.
integrate them with your older, because if there's a size difference, you'll get that picking issue, aggressive. Those older hens will be like, oh wait, trespassing.
Well, plus we have
Different breeds.
yeah, different breeds and different roosters over here, so we don't want them crossbreeding with those ones
Okay.
as well. Plus, I think the black copper Moran roosters would probably
Do some damage.
injure the silky or the sizzle roos and stuff.
Did you hear that? Sizzle.
The sizzle
That's a California name.
I think we dubbed it. Said silkies and frizzles,
We
you get
didn't
sizzles.
dub it.
No, we didn't dub it?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
us.
It wasn't a 3 dub
wasn't,
dub?
no.
It wasn't a 3 dubs dub. Not this time.
Gemma.
So we have the nesting boxes in here. There's only 8, and some of the girls are in there laying right now. This is our brooder. So when we actually have baby chicks, when we hatch them out, we'll hatch them out when we get turkey eggs. So we put the turkey eggs in a week before the chicken eggs, and then they all hatch at the same time. And the baby chicks actually teach the the turkey poults how to drink and eat.
Yeah, they're very infantile. I've experienced. They take a little bit more TLC to get started.
And they're harder to hatch out, I've found.
Yeah.
And I've actually lost turkey poults because I wasn't doing that before, putting them in a week before the chicken eggs and then hatching them at the same time. And I wasn't good enough at teaching them how to eat and drink.
You weren't a good turkey mom?
I was not a good turkey mom. So then I read about that, hatching them at the same time, and the baby chicks teach the baby turkeys how to eat and drink, and it works good.
Yeah, every time I get my turkeys, it takes a couple days of me introducing them to food and waters throughout the day just to get them going.
Yes. So after they hatch, 2-3 days after they're all hatched out, and I keep them in the incubator and use that as a brooder.
Oh yeah, it keeps them nice and warm.
Keeps them perfect. You can adjust the temperature perfectly, and then I transfer them into here, and then they stay in here until they're about 4 weeks old.
And then they can see the other hens and get used to them.
Right, and then turn them out with the rest of them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I'll use this I have a chicken coop over here as well.
Like a transition coop.
Right, because if they're still too small and the older adult birds are picking on them, then I'll transfer them over here.
Yeah,
this was originally our sizzle coop. But then we outgrew it really quick. So
chicken math again.
Yeah, that's right, chicken math.
It's always good to have a few different options. Awesome.
Keeps us connected too.
I also use this as an isolation coop sometimes too. If
somebody's
somebody's
displaying a little bit of symptoms, you just put them outside.
Or it's usually because the hens get a little bit too beat up. They're way too popular, so I'll transfer them over here.
Give them a break.
2 to 4 at a time. Give them a break and cycle them back once they. I've actually put some of the Easter egger hens and BCM hens in here. And I haven't transferred them back. They're enjoying their vacation.
So fortunately, we haven't had really any medical issues. Usually, if we do, it's when there are ticks, and it's usually just related to probably being weak. But so our isolation is not for health reasons. We have a pretty healthy flock, aside from maybe somebody being pecked in the eye, but that again only happens when they're little. So
I'm just curious, do you guys use all natural methods of feeding and treating, or are you pro medicated feed? I know this is always a personal choice, but it's always interesting to see how other people do it.
We're pretty natural. Apple cider vinegar in the water, because of the algae sometimes as well, and we have a really high iron content in our well, so we'll do that, but we don't use medicated feed at all.
Okay.
And then they really are spoiled. Whatever kitchen scraps that we have, they get usually. And we have pretty much a raw diet because we're Californians, right?
Yeah,
so we have a lot
Whole
of
foods.
We have a lot of scraps.
You can grow things all year long here.
And we do.
When Ohio is just starting their seeds right now, tomatoes are growing here, guys. And then, just out of curiosity, what would be like your favorite chicken breed and why?
I am just completely in love with the Easter eggers. They mostly because they're so sweet. When they're free ranging here and we come up with treats, they look like attack chickens coming
Dinosaurs.
down. Exactly. Well, So folks that aren't used to chickens or our flock, they're coming down to get the treats, not to attack. But the Easter eggers just sit down and just want to be stroked and petted and loved, and so I just think that they're just so sweet and cute.
Yeah, they're all different. The color variations, and like I said earlier, they're a super hardy breed. I personally raised them in Northeast Ohio. They're doing well in Southern California, where you get temps above 100.
Oh, 115.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very warm portion of the state.
And dry.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got lots of shade. There's always plenty of water. You've got some hardy breeds. It looks like you guys are doing a fantastic job. I'd want to be a chicken here.
Rob, what's your favorite breed?
Yeah, what's yours?
It's probably the Easterriggers as well. They're the most prolific, and the BCM girls and the
BCM is Black Copper Moran.
Sorry, and the Olive Eggers can be really kind of cantankerous.
Yeah.
And even mean at times.
Moody.
Moody. And I have some. We don't name many of them, but the ones that we do name are the Easterrigger ones because you can actually tell them apart a lot easier.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of Black Copper Morans or a bunch of Olive Eggers together, and you can't tell one from the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Easterriggers, we have Caramella, and she was the only one that was ever actually hatched in the coop.
Okay, so she was raised by a breeding mama?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I was like surprised when all of a sudden I see this little chick coming up to eat on the feeder.
A funny story. Rob used to listen to me be customer service for another hatchery, basically, right? And he would say, "How would people not know that they have a broody hen inside their? That means they're not taking care of their coop, right?"
No,
and
it
then
happens. It happens.
Wow. I didn't. They'd
mama.
bury them. Right. I didn't realize that they had buried the eggs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you didn't know it's there, and then
Open
they're
them
secretly.
Especially
right.
if we have a little bit of deep litter, so we use diatomaceous earth to keep it dry and keep all the diseases and the bugs. And so anyway.
So deep litter's not just for cold climates, it's for warm climates too.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people think that it's really good for the colder climates only because it also helps keep
The warmth.
warmth.
Right. Insulation.
But you keep that layer, the top layer clean. It doesn't get too warm and the ammonia stays down and the bugs stay down and
Makes
it's less
it
work.
dry.
It's less work in the long run.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's more natural, we think, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for letting me come and invade your flock and borrow your shoes. I know I have a call into the sick bird hotline here in California because I want them to advise me exactly how I should travel back to Ohio in order to protect my flock and to protect my hatchery. I did purchase separate shoes just for California, and like I said, I have different shoes waiting for me at home. But I just want to be like 100% sure that I am not taking anything back and sharing anything that just, this disease is not good. This is not to scare anybody, but just to inform people that it's serious. And even if your flock is clean and safe, you're not, you can still be infected by going to the grocery store and stepping where somebody else stepped with something on their shoe. So just be careful with your own flocks. And thanks for visiting us today.